Get ready. This week, something subtle but profoundly powerful is quietly unfolding beneath the surface of your everyday awareness. At first glance, the moon's current phase might seem like just another turn in its endless celestial cycle. Yet beneath this apparent normality, there is a stirring, a shift that's already beginning to ripple through your inner world and the collective atmosphere alike. You might notice it in fleeting thoughts that seem unusually persistent, sudden shifts in your mood, or in the way people around you interact with a slightly altered energy, more distant, more intense, or unexpectedly tender. This isn't the kind of transformation that screams for attention. Rather, it slips in like a shadow at dusk, creeping quietly until its presence becomes undeniable. Beginning on May 17th, the moon enters its waning phase, gradually losing its light, dimming day by day. This natural dimming mirrors a profound process unfolding inside you, a process that transcends mere astronomy and dips deeply into your emotional and spiritual landscape. The waning moon is never just about the moon itself. This time around, it is joined on the cosmic stage by other key players, Saturn and Venus, moving into alignment with the moon just days apart. Their combined influence creates an energy dense with gravity and subtle tension, adding layers of complexity to what might otherwise be mistaken for an ordinary lunar cycle. This week's vibe is elusive, almost intangible, but you will feel it whether or not you can put words to it. There is a mysterious energy flowing, one that will influence your choices, interactions, and internal dialogues in ways that might only become clear in hindsight. This is one of those rare moments where the smallest shifts, those almost invisible cracks in your usual patterns, hold the potential to reshape your entire path. The significance of these quiet undercurrents is easy to miss, yet their effects can ripple through weeks, months, even years ahead. If you feel a nudge this week, a subtle urge to set intentions or focus on something meaningful, lean fully into that impulse. Don't hesitate to write down your intentions. Speak them aloud, or share them with a trusted friend or confidant. Even something as simple as jotting down the number 444 in your journal, or as a symbolic comment in a place you revisit, often can act as a beacon of protection and alignment in this mystical window. Later, when the dust settles and the fog lifts, you may look back and realize how pivotal this week was, how the seeds you planted then have grown or shifted in surprising ways. Many people have been feeling scattered lately. You might find your memory foggy, your focus elusive, or your mind wandering into spaces of confusion more than usual. There is a very specific reason behind this sensation, one deeply tied to the lunar cycle and the energetic environment surrounding it. But before diving into that, it's crucial to address something weightier, something that speaks to the spiritual weariness many are beginning to experience. This week isn't just about cosmic shifts and subtle influences. It is also about what some might call a spiritual drain. This fatigue you feel goes far beyond physical tiredness. It's not simply about needing more rest or a change in routine. Instead, it's a sensation of being emptied on a deeper level, as if your energetic reserves are being drawn out by an unseen force. This process is intimately linked to the approach of the last quarter moon on May 20th, a phase whose name may sound calm and innocuous, but whose effects are anything but gentle. This is the moment in the lunar cycle where collapse begins, but it's not a collapse born from chaos or destruction. Rather, it is a necessary unraveling, a letting go of what no longer serves, a slow sinking beneath the surface that carries away parts of you that have become outdated or heavy. During this phase, your spiritual energy might flicker and waver like a candle caught in a gusty wind. The motivation that once burned brightly could dim to a soft, uncertain glow. The clarity you usually have about your purpose or passions might become clouded or even feel distant and unreachable. Disconnection can settle in, bringing a sense of confusion or the unsettling feeling that nothing quite fits anymore. But here's the paradox. This disorientation and fog are not signs of decline or failure. Instead, they mark the beginning of a profound cleansing process, a spiritual detox that clears the way for renewal beneath the surface of your awareness. Mystics throughout history have spoken about this part of the lunar cycle as a time of moon sickness. They believed it to be a period when invisible, parasitic energies could cling to your emotional body, draining your vitality and clouding your sense of self. Perhaps this ancient wisdom holds more truth than we realize. The symptoms of this moon sickness often don't manifest as physical ailments. Rather, they emerge within the spirit. An erosion of ego defenses, a disorienting questioning of identity, a temporary forgetting of who you truly are. This state can feel disconcerting, yet it is precisely this moment of unknowing that your soul needs. This phase doesn't exist to break you down, but to strip away the layers of illusion, falsehood, and misidentification. It reveals what no longer belongs to you, the beliefs, attachments, and identities that have outlived their purpose. What follows the last quarter moon, often overlooked or ignored, is the dark moon phase, a quiet, almost secretive chapter in the lunar story. It is far removed from the bright, romantic crescents or the luminous full moon. The dark moon is about emptiness, silence, and raw truth. During the dark moon, the veil between worlds thins not only superficially, but flips entirely. This isn't just about spirit energies drawing closer. It's about your own subconscious rising to the surface with startling clarity. The memories you thought buried deep, old regrets, hidden guilt, forgotten traumas, may resurface unexpectedly. Dreams grow vivid and strange, populated by faces from your past or unknown figures that feel eerily familiar. You may experience moments of déjà vu so precise they defy coincidence, or witness synchronicities that feel like coded messages just for you. These experiences are not random glitches in perception, but deliberate contact from realms beyond the usual. The dark moon calls your attention to everything you have tried to avoid. The shadows of your inner world will not be ignored any longer. They will knock with increasing insistence. But this knocking is not a threat. It is an invitation. What you acknowledge during this phase holds the power to guide you forward. You might remember fragments of your life you forgot you knew, echoes from childhood, impressions from past lives, or glimpses of other dimensions of your being. This is not a haunting, but a message. A necessary confrontation with the truths that have been waiting patiently in the dark. If you have been noticing repeated number sequences like 1111, 333, or 144, or waking at exactly 3:33 a.m. without explanation, this is part of the cosmic communication weaving through your reality. These signs are not mere coincidence. They are signals from the shifting layers of time and dimension surrounding you. Some things may return briefly, not to stay, but to be released once and for all, helping you shed old burdens and step into a new rhythm. The dark moon is not about gaining clarity, but about embracing truth in the shadows. It is a time when you are not meant to see clearly, but to feel your way through the darkness until something authentic begins to emerge. And perhaps the greatest barrier to your transformation is not external. It's the story you have told yourself about who you are and what is possible for your life. These stories, woven from fear, doubt, and old conditioning, may need to be dismantled so the new can take root. On May 22nd, the Moon's alignment with Saturn brings this process into sharper focus. Saturn often bears the reputation of being heavy, restrictive, or punitive. Yet this week, it asks you to consider a different perspective. What if Saturn is not the villain, but a wise guide? What if instead of punishment, Saturn's presence offers you the chance to face your own reflection, the parts you've been unwilling to see or admit? Saturn doesn't judge or scold. It reveals with brutal honesty. It holds up a mirror that shows you not the surface image, but the deep patterns and illusions you have built around yourself. Under this week's moon, this mirror becomes a potent tool, one that can help you strip away layers of self-deception and come into direct contact with your core truth. This is your moment to remember and to release. It is a powerful invitation to trust that, even when you find yourself surrounded by shadows, you are being guided by a force far greater than what your eyes can see. When everything seems to be unraveling, when it feels as though your world is breaking apart, there is something profound and unseen being quietly rebuilt beneath the surface. This moment, illuminated by the moon aligning with Saturn, brings to light what you've been hiding behind. The excuses, the distractions, the stories you tell yourself to avoid facing the deeper truth of why your growth feels stalled. Consider how often you've said you don't have enough time, how often you've told yourself you're not ready yet, or blamed your lack of progress on the energy around you. Yet what if those reasons you cling to are merely veils covering a belief that no longer serves you? Perhaps what truly weighs you down isn't time or readiness or external chaos, but an inner conviction, a story about yourself that has outlived its usefulness. It's easy to hold on to these familiar narratives because they feel safe, but the alignment between the moon and Saturn shines a relentless light on them, making their edges transparent and fragile. This celestial conjunction is not a gentle nudge. It is a cosmic wake-up call that reveals the loops you've been stuck in, the fears you've disguised as logic, and the self-imposed walls you've mistaken for destiny. Saturn doesn't stand in your way. It is the echo of your own doubt, the voice within that asks if you are truly willing to let that old story continue to lead your path. The energy here is not external, nor is it about anyone else. It is the truth you have known deep inside but have been avoiding out of comfort or fear. And if there is a decision you've been postponing, this is the week that avoidance begins to bite. Not as punishment, but as a clearing mechanism, opening a path forward. The moon governs our emotions, while Saturn symbolizes structure and discipline. When these two come together, they reveal the architecture of your inner emotional world. You start to notice the cracks, the places where your energy leaks away unnoticed. It becomes impossible to look away from the broken parts that you may have long ignored. What you fear is not failure itself, but the success that would demand transformation. This paradox can sting deeply. Yet when you face it, when you accept this twist, the burden you have carried begins to lift. The mental fog dissipates, and suddenly progress seems not just possible, but inevitable. It's not that clarity was lost, it was being cleansed. Now, there is something many overlook in this energetic shift. If your mind feels foggy or scattered, if your thoughts drift as if moving through static, this is not a mere distraction or a random phase. It is an intentional, energetic realignment coming directly from the moon. As we journey from the last quarter moon toward the new moon, the moon's subtle frequency shifts, impacting us on a quiet, internal level. You may sense it even if nothing outward appears changed. The moon becomes like a cosmic magnet, drawing up old emotional fragments and mental patterns with precise purpose, not randomness. This process acts like a divine reset, targeting everything you have outgrown but continue to carry. It calls forth old grudges, self-doubts that once protected you but now limit your growth, conversations replayed endlessly in your mind, embarrassing moments that have long passed, and versions of your life you never chose, but still mourn quietly. So if you find yourself zoning out, forgetting names, or losing your train of thought at moments when clarity should be sharpest, it's not a flaw within you. Rather, it is a sign that something is being released, something no longer meant to weigh you down. Not all forgetting is loss. Sometimes it is liberation. Your mind is a powerful and adaptive tool, but it can also be stubborn. It wants to hold on, sometimes too tightly, to what no longer serves your highest good. This grip creates resistance, not just mentally, but in your body and spirit and the flow of your life. That resistance manifests as the fog you and many others feel now. This week, lunar energy is actively clearing those hidden loops, shutting down background processes and deleting cached versions of who you no longer are. That is where the real shift unfolds. Instead of fighting the fog or fearing what feels unclear, lean into it. Allow the haze to do its work. Notice which memories begin to fade, which names lose their grip on your heart, which emotional habits suddenly feel less binding. This is not failure. It is evolution. The forgetfulness is sacred, a sign from your soul of what it no longer wants to carry forward. It may feel disorienting, even unsettling. You might feel ungrounded or lost at times. But that sensation comes from your energy detaching from invisible chains you never fully realized were holding you down. This is not confusion. It is a spiritual reboot. Let the fog wash over you and cleanse you. When it lifts, you will feel lighter, clearer, and more authentically yourself than you have in a long time. Now, turning towards something more subtle yet profound, this shift is not about love in the usual sense, not about romantic or social love as most think of it. On May 23rd, as the moon moves toward Venus, something ancient and primal begins to stir within you. At first, this may manifest as a gentle longing, a craving for connection or closeness, a desire to be seen, heard, and valued. It could feel like an ache to matter deeply to someone else, or even just to yourself. Yet this alignment is not merely about amplifying feelings of love. It is a moment that invites you to examine your relationship to your own need for love itself. This stirring prompts you to explore how you give and receive affection, how you seek validation, and whether you honor your own worth independently of others' recognition. It's a call to reconnect with your intrinsic value, the kind that doesn't depend on external approval or circumstances. Through this cosmic dance between the moon and Venus, you are invited to deepen your understanding of love's true nature, a reflection of the love you hold within. In this sacred space, the longing you feel becomes not just a desire for connection, but a gateway to self-acceptance. The yearning for closeness reveals where you may have been neglecting your own heart. It surfaces the ways you may have compromised your needs to fit into roles or relationships that no longer nurture you. And as this ancient energy stirs, it encourages you to begin nurturing yourself with the same kindness and compassion you seek from others. This alignment offers the opportunity to heal wounds around worthiness and attachment, to release any patterns of seeking love from outside that leave you feeling empty or dependent. It's a cosmic reminder that the deepest, most lasting love always starts within. When you can feel that love for yourself fully, you naturally attract relationships that mirror that respect, care, and authenticity. So as this week unfolds, embrace the powerful energies at play. Let the cosmic forces guide you through the process of releasing what no longer serves, clearing away emotional clutter, and stepping into a new level of clarity and self-awareness. Trust that this is a sacred time of realignment, where the shadows are not places to fear, but doorways to profound healing and growth. It sneaks in softly, like a fleeting whisper in the back of your mind. I wonder what they're up to. It's subtle at first, almost innocent, like a gentle breeze brushing past your awareness without causing much disturbance. But before long, that small thought grows into an impulse, a quiet but urgent nudge that pushes you to reach out to someone from your past, to send a message that stirs the pot, or to post something designed to provoke a reaction, just to feel seen or validated. Maybe you catch yourself chasing compliments, seeking approval from someone who, deep down, you know doesn't truly matter to your heart. This energy feels familiar, like an old friend disguised as a stranger. It's soft but persistent. It knows exactly where your emotional vulnerabilities lie, not to judge or punish, but to gently reflect back what you've been avoiding. That urge you feel, the ache rising within you, it's not really about the other person. It's a mirror held up to your soul, revealing something much deeper than casual curiosity or momentary loneliness. It exposes the hunger that's been quietly gnawing away at your spirit, a hunger that runs far deeper and stretches back longer than you've allowed yourself to see. This hunger is ancient, raw, and often hidden beneath layers of distraction and denial. It has shaped your behaviors more than you realize, nudging you toward patterns that offer momentary comfort, but never true fulfillment. And here's the powerful truth. Once you can recognize this hunger clearly, you hold the key to transforming it. You can begin to feed yourself in ways that truly nourish your soul, not with crumbs tossed from the table of fleeting pleasures or distractions, but with honest, sustaining truth. This week feels like an invitation, a call from the universe to stop blaming external forces for your stalled growth, to stop pretending the fog clouding your mind is some random glitch or fluke, and to cease searching for love in places that only echo your own ache without ever soothing it. Everything you're experiencing right now, every memory fading away, every fear bubbling to the surface, every craving hitting with unexpected force, is part of a greater, unseen clearing process. You are being reset from the inside out, and though it might feel like loss, it's not that something has been taken from you. Instead, it's that you are finally ready to release what no longer serves you, to let go of what never truly belonged. What you're feeling, the deep tug, the ache you can't quite explain, is your soul quietly revealing a hidden insecurity that has been lingering just beneath your awareness. It's been waiting for a moment like this, a time when the cosmic alignment opens a door for it to stir and rise to the surface. This insecurity becomes hungry, craving warmth, validation, a gentle touch of affection. It longs for romance, even if that romance is fleeting, even if you know deep down that it might bring pain later. This yearning can feel so urgent and intense that it clouds your judgment, making it harder to distinguish between genuine connection and a desperate attempt to fill a void. You might find yourself asking, can I truly carry the weight of my own emotions? Or am I still hoping, perhaps secretly, that someone else will show up and hold them for me? This is a difficult question, but it's one that holds immense importance right now. The energy swirling around you is incredibly tempting. It beckons you to reach out, to reveal tender parts of yourself too quickly, to seek instant closeness just to stave off the sting of loneliness. For some, following this pull might feel magical at first, like the universe is finally giving you a sign, like fate has aligned to bring you what you need. But if you're not firmly rooted in your own worth, if you haven't established a steady foundation of self-love and self-respect before this emotional tide sweeps over you, the inevitable crash afterward can feel devastating. Desire without a solid sense of self-worth is a recipe for heartbreak. This is the quiet danger woven into the beauty of Venus and the Moon coming together. Their energy is enchanting, magnetic, almost irresistible. It has the power to dress up illusions as home, to paint fleeting moments as if they were destiny. It feels like a promise whispered under moonlight, but it can just as easily lead you down a path that disconnects you from your own truth. This moment is not merely a cosmic gift to be celebrated without caution. It's more of a spiritual test, not because the universe wants to punish you, but because it is checking in on your growth, asking if you've evolved enough to stand steady when the waves hit. It's asking if you can feel longing without letting it sweep you away from yourself. If you can meet this moment with awareness, if you can move through this energy without outsourcing your sense of worth or trying to prove anything to anyone else, then something profound will happen. You won't just resist the temptation, you'll transcend it. You'll transform. This transformation is the hidden promise beneath the ache and the temptation. It's the unfolding of a deeper connection to yourself, a rising above the need for external validation to find something infinitely more sustaining within. There's something eerie about May 23rd, a quiet heaviness, a strange stillness that feels like a day that forgot to begin. You might wake up feeling disconnected, like time itself has softened around the edges, leaving you moving through a fog. Your body might go through the motions, but your spirit feels like it's trailing behind, struggling to catch up. You might watch the world from a distance, as if behind a screen, detached from your own thoughts and feelings. This disconnect can be unsettling, and a part of you might panic, wondering, what's wrong with me? Why do I feel like this? Did I miss something? The truth is, you didn't miss anything. What you're experiencing is a moment of profound internal recalibration. It's as if your soul is quietly urging you to slow down, to pause, to witness yourself without judgment. This strange stillness is not a sign of failure or disconnection, but a powerful space for reflection and healing. In this quiet, you are being asked to sit with your feelings, no matter how uncomfortable or confusing they may be, and to listen deeply to what they reveal about your inner world. You are being called to recognize that the ache you feel is a sacred messenger. It's telling you that beneath the surface, you are ready to let go of old wounds, outdated beliefs about yourself, and patterns that no longer serve your highest good. This is the fertile ground where true growth begins, not in forcing yourself to snap out of it or pretending everything is fine, but in embracing the vulnerability of this moment fully and tenderly. So rather than fighting the fog or rushing to escape the loneliness by reaching for something outside yourself, try to lean into this pause. Let it teach you how to befriend your own longing instead of fearing it. Notice how this hunger, while uncomfortable, is a sign of your deepest desire for wholeness, a yearning not just for love from others, but for a profound, unshakable love from within. When you start to feed that hunger with self-compassion, truth, and presence, you begin to shift the energy from a craving that depletes you into a force that nourishes and renews. The path forward may not always be clear, and the process might feel slow and uneven. But trust that this moment is a turning point. The fog will lift, the ache will soften, and you will emerge with a stronger connection to your own worth. You will see that you never needed to chase after validation or love from the outside, because it was inside you all along, waiting to be recognized, embraced, and set free. This is the hidden gift beneath the ache, the stillness, and the stirring within you now. A quiet but powerful invitation to awaken to your own radiant value, to step into your power, and to move forward with a heart that is whole, grounded, and fiercely alive. But here's the real truth that often gets lost in the noise of everyday life. Nothing is actually wrong. What you're experiencing isn't a failure or a sign that you've lost your way. Instead, this is exactly what it looks like when the universe gently presses pause. Imagine the moon slipping slowly into shadow as she prepares for her sacred reset, the new moon that arrives on the 27th. It's not just a cosmic event, it's a metaphor for the cycles in our own lives, moments where everything seems to quiet down so deeply that we can almost hear the pulse of the cosmos itself. Right around the 23rd, we enter a profound, sacred threshold, what ancient mystics once called the gap of power. This is that exquisite, breathless space suspended between what has been and what is about to emerge. It's like the delicate silence between your last exhale and your next inhale. And in this space, clarity as we normally understand it doesn't live. This is not a time for rushing toward answers, for forcing understanding, or for trying to grasp the future with clenched fists. Instead, this is a time meant for surrender, for floating in uncertainty, for being gloriously lost. You may find yourself drifting without a clear direction. Your usual plans could feel empty, your goals suddenly hazy or out of reach. Maybe you're questioning yourself, your identity, your purpose, even your worth. And that feeling of confusion, it's not a flaw. It's not a sign of failure or something to fix. We live in a culture that conditions us to immediately correct discomfort, to name the problem, to solve it, to quickly move on. But the spiritual journey doesn't follow a clock or a timeline. It moves in rhythms far deeper than the hurried tick of the modern world. This moment, right here, is undeniably spiritual. Confusion isn't a dead end. Sometimes it's a subtle, hidden doorway inviting you to step through. So resist the urge to fix this day. Don't try to force an explanation or pin down what you're feeling. Instead, allow yourself to simply float, to listen quietly to the spaces inside and around you. Let the uncertainty breathe. If you push too hard for an answer, you might receive one, but it won't come from your true self. It will emerge from fear, from anxiety, from the frantic need to control. And you deserve better than that. You deserve answers that arise naturally from your soul's own wisdom, not from the panic of your mind. Take a deep breath. Step back from the chaos of your thoughts and plans. Let the mystery unfold in its own time. This stillness you are experiencing is sacred. It isn't a void to fear, but a space that sharpens your intuition, not by adding noise, but by revealing what lies beneath the surface, through the absence of distraction. If you feel disconnected from your dreams, from your vision, from the why that once fueled your fire, let that be okay for now. That sense of distance isn't a loss, but a gentle peeling away of attachments that were never meant to be permanent. Stillness is not emptiness. It is full of hidden truths. truths that aren't yet ready to be heard or understood. If you find yourself zoning out, wandering in memories, or pacing in circles with no clear purpose, don't resist it. Don't judge yourself for feeling stuck. Stay present in that space a little longer. Beneath the surface, something subtle is stirring. It might feel faint or invisible, but it is very real, and it is at work, weaving the threads of your transformation. Allow yourself to drift without steering. Give the unknown the room it needs to breathe and unfold. What is forming in this darkness is potent and powerful. When it rises, it will rewrite the map you thought you had so carefully drawn. Whatever has broken recently in your life, that thing you thought you couldn't survive, had actually been fracturing you long before it shattered. And its final breaking wasn't an accident. It was an exhale, a release of what no longer serves you. Now let's take a moment to acknowledge the strange little signs you might have been ignoring lately. You know the ones. The glass that slips from your hand without warning. The light bulb that bursts the instant you enter the room. The necklace you always wear suddenly snapping at its clasp. These aren't random mishaps or mere clumsiness. They're messages, subtle, energetic releases that the universe is sending your way. Between the 22nd and 24th, the moon begins a quiet but powerful cleanse. This isn't a spectacle or a loud upheaval. It's a delicate surgical clearing, precise and gentle. When this kind of energetic sweep moves through your life, it often manifests as things breaking or shifting in your physical world. But why? Everything around us holds energy. Every object, every piece of clothing, every device we use carries the imprint of our inner world. When your energy begins to shift, when you start outgrowing an old version of yourself, not everything can accompany you on this new path. You didn't cause these breakages by accident. You're not careless or unlucky. What's really happening is that your energy has moved, evolved, and the objects around you simply cannot hold on to the old vibration anymore. Sometimes it's small, a favorite mug from a chapter of your life that you're now leaving behind, a pair of shoes that once carried your anxiety but now feel worn out and useless, a phone that glitches or a journal that mysteriously disappears. Other times, it's more symbolic. A photo frame crashes to the floor just as you finally let go of the identity you once held dear. These are not coincidences. These breakages are part of your spiritual process. The shattering you see isn't destruction in the usual sense. It's clearing, a releasing of old energy that no longer fits the person you are becoming. It's your spirit making space for what's next, not through force or violence, but through the gentle act of letting go. Your energy is rewriting itself, and when that happens, your external world responds. It's not personal, it's spiritual. So in these moments when everything feels uncertain, when you feel lost or broken or unsure, remember that you are in the midst of a sacred transformation. The silence and stillness, the confusion and the cracks, they're not signs of failure, but invitations to trust a process far bigger than your mind can grasp. You are being softened, refined, and prepared for a new beginning. And though you can't see it yet, this pause, this dark, quiet space you're in is alive with potential. It's the womb of your rebirth. Allow yourself to rest here without judgment. Let the universe's rhythm guide you, even if it feels slow, even if it feels like nothing is happening. Because everything is happening. The seeds are being planted beneath the surface, and soon, very soon, you will rise renewed with a clarity and strength that only comes from truly surrendering to the unknown. If you find something slipping through your fingers this week, don't fight it. Don't clutch harder or resist the loss. Instead, gently let it go. If something breaks, whether it's a plan, a relationship, a habit, or a cherished belief, take a moment to thank it for the role it played in your journey before you move forward. Because the part of you that needed that thing, that held onto it so tightly, is fading away. The person you are becoming can't carry the weight of what once was. What lies ahead demands a new kind of space, one that feels lighter, freer, and more aligned with your true evolving self. The feelings you're experiencing right now, the subtle shifts that seem to ripple beneath the surface, the tiny cracks appearing in your once solid routines, the unexpected breakdowns and disruptions. These are not punishments or setbacks. They're sacred signals from the universe, from your spirit. The moon, with all its quiet power, is not trying to hurt you or make life harder. It is helping you release what no longer belongs in your life. Sometimes, the release needs to be undeniable, something tangible that snaps, shatters, or falls apart, because your logical mind often overlooks the quiet whispers of your heart and soul. But you will notice it. You'll catch sight of the broken mirror, the once solid foundation now crumbling. This is no accident. It's purposeful. Instead of rushing to fix what seems broken, try to sit with the discomfort. Allow yourself the space to ask gently, what was that thing really tied to? What memories swirl beneath it? What feelings did it hold? Which chapter of your life does it belong to? More importantly, what part of yourself is being asked to step aside, to release, to transform? These small upheavals are far from random. They mark the moment your energy has outgrown what once fit. This week brings endings, but not the kind that roar or explode. These are soft endings, endings that whisper rather than shout. They make quiet sounds, a subtle clink, a faint crack, a gentle rip. They are not curses nor misfortunes. They are messages signaling the close of a cycle. The version of you that once clung to that energy has reached its natural conclusion. Your frequency, your energetic signature, has shifted in ways you might not fully understand yet. It no longer fits into the confines of what you once tolerated or held onto. So when something breaks this week, whether in your physical surroundings, your emotions, or your spirit, resist the urge to panic or spiral into anxiety. Instead, pause. Breathe deeply. Express gratitude. Thank the universe for the break, because it is clearing space. It's making room. A sacred opening for something new and more aligned to emerge. Something that fits the next phase of your journey. Even the smallest release can ripple out in profound ways, changing the course of your life more than you might imagine. As the new moon draws closer, you may already be sensing an invisible pull in the air. It's a subtle, almost unexplainable pressure, a sensation that something deep inside is ready to peel away, to shed layers that have grown heavy and outdated. You might feel restless, irritable for no clear reason, or perhaps there's a nagging sense that something in your life just doesn't fit anymore, even if you can't quite name it. That feeling isn't random or meaningless. It's the waning crescent moon's quiet, intuitive language, speaking directly to your soul. The message now is simple but powerful. Let go of one thing. Not everything at once, not your entire world or identity. This isn't a call to overwhelm yourself with massive change or destruction. It's a gentle invitation to release just one piece of old energy that you've been dragging along from one cycle to the next, even though deep down, you know it no longer belongs in your story. Maybe it's a persistent thought pattern that wears you down, looping in your mind until it drains your energy. Maybe it's the lingering sting that rises every time a certain name or memory comes up. Maybe it's the exhausting habit of trying to prove your worth to those who never truly saw it. Whatever the burden, you don't have to fix it or fully understand it right now. You only need to be honest with yourself and acknowledge that you're tired of carrying it. This is not a time to add more, hustle harder, or push through the discomfort. This is a time to do less, to subtract, to release, to lighten the load. By shedding what no longer serves, you create sacred space so that the next cycle of your life can unfold differently. Not as a repeat of the past, but as a fresh new chapter. There is immense power in subtraction. The sacred act of letting go can be more transformative than adding anything new. Often, what you choose to release matters more than what you choose to hold on to. Even if the thing you're releasing seems small or insignificant right now, that choice can shift your entire future in ways you cannot yet see. Remember, growth is not always about building up. Sometimes, it's about gently peeling back layers, clearing away the debris of old stories and patterns, and allowing your true self to breathe, stretch, and emerge in new forms. This week is an invitation to honor that sacred process, to trust that the universe is helping you move toward a version of yourself that is freer, more aligned, and more alive than ever before. So when the unexpected comes, when the familiar breaks, and when your heart aches with the push and pull of change, meet it with grace. Trust the process. Know that every small ending is a tender gift, clearing the way for something deeply nourishing to come through. This is your moment to release with intention, to open your hands, and to welcome the new possibilities waiting quietly just beyond the horizon. The moon moves in rhythms that defy the logic we often cling to in our daily lives. It doesn't follow the clear lines of cause and effect, nor does it respond to our plans and schedules. Instead, it works through something more subtle, more profound: energy and intention. When we allow ourselves to align with the moon's natural cycles, we tap into a current that flows beneath the surface of conscious thought, one that invites us to release, to surrender, and to create space for transformation. This isn't about forcing change or manufacturing a new reality through sheer willpower. It's about a gentle yielding, a quiet permission to let go of what no longer serves us. When you allow something to fall away, whether it's a habit, a belief, an expectation, or a burden, you make room for the universe to bring in something unexpected, something you might not even have known you needed. It's in this sacred space of release that true renewal happens. What arrives next is often more aligned with your deepest self, more attuned to your soul's unique path, and infinitely more beautiful than anything you could have planned. As we stand on the threshold of the new moon, this moment invites you to turn inward and ask yourself a simple but powerful question. What is the one thing I am truly ready to stop carrying? This isn't a question to answer with words or to announce to the world. It's a question meant for your heart and your spirit alone. You don't need a plan or a strategy. You don't need to explain or justify your choice. The most important thing is the decision itself, made quietly, honestly, and with intention. Let it go in your own way, whether that's in thought, in prayer, in meditation, or simply in the stillness of your being. Release it. When you do this in alignment with the new moon's natural energy, you open a doorway. The universe responds to this letting go by shifting the energy around you, clearing away the old and making room for the new. What comes next may surprise you. It might feel lighter, freer, or richer than you expected. It might lead you down a path you hadn't even imagined, one filled with possibility, creativity, and profound joy. Beneath the surface of the coming days, something subtle but powerful is stirring. You might not notice it right away. The world can seem quiet, uneventful, even still, but don't be fooled by this calm. In the silence, the moon is retreating into shadow, entering a phase of rest and renewal. This retreat opens a threshold, a liminal space where endings and beginnings meet. There's no dramatic sky show or loud proclamation. Instead, this moment speaks softly. You'll feel it first as a shift in your body, a sense of lightness, or maybe a gentle ache where tension used to reside. Your mind might not understand it immediately, but your body remembers. Your intuition senses the change. This time is not just an ordinary week passing by. It's a passage, a sacred pause that separates the closing chapter of your life from the new one that is quietly forming beneath the surface. Most people won't notice this transition, not because it's hidden, but because they are caught up in the noise, the distractions, the busyness, the endless rush. But if you're truly listening, if you've been making space within yourself, if you've been paying attention to what no longer fits or feels right, you will feel this shift. You will sense the subtle unspooling of what's ready to dissolve. When that moment arrives, it won't just be a change in your calendar or your routine. It will be a change in how you move forward, how you show up in the world, how you carry yourself into what's next. This new moon isn't merely a fresh start on the surface. It's an invitation to meet a fresh version of yourself, one who has been quietly forming underneath the layers you've shed, the stories you've released, and the old patterns you've outgrown. If you are ready, truly ready, to step into this new version of you, the moment will find you. It will come with a sense of recognition, a feeling of alignment, and a deep knowing that this is your time to blossom in ways you may not have dared to dream before. Thank you for being here in this space, for taking the time to tune in and feel what's quietly rising within you. Your willingness to listen, to reflect, and to engage with this energy is a powerful act of self-care and spiritual awakening. If this message resonates with you, I invite you to stay connected by subscribing to the channel. Your support means more than words can express. It fuels the heart of this community and helps spread this gentle light. And if you feel moved to share your own experiences or reflections, I would love to hear from you in the comments. There is so much healing and growth that happens when we come together, when we witness one another's journeys, and when we create space for collective transformation. Until we meet again, take care of yourself with tenderness and patience. Keep listening to the whispers beneath the noise. There is magic in the quiet places, in the spaces between breaths, and in the stillness where your soul speaks most clearly. Something beautiful is waiting to unfold. Trust that it is coming. Trust that it is meant for you, and be ready to welcome it with an open heart.